Part 1. Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman. Let's begin. Tom Cruise is a psychopath. I'm just kidding. Tom was born on July 3rd, 1962, making him a Cancer sun, Leo moon. What a fucking weirdo. Like, what a terrible pairing. Like, can you imagine? I'm a Cancer sun, Leo moon. Nicole was born June 20th, 1967. She's a Gemini sun, Sagittarius moon. Nicole is described as somebody fiercely independent. She's also described as open-minded, someone open and honest and vulnerable about her mistakes, someone who shares for the sake of connection. She's described often as compassionate, open-minded, always trying to expand her worldview, my best friend. And Tom Cruise is described as passionate and intense and all or nothing, an extremist. Incredibly focused and harsh. Charming. Charismatic. Let's do a little background. Nicole. She's Latina now. Nicole Kidman. Nicole Kidman Perez Hernandez is from Australia. So in Nicole Kidman's early 20s, she was doing a mini-series called Vietnam. But when she was 22, she really caught her big break when she was in a Australian smash hit called Dead Calm. And it was a big deal, right? And this big deal caught the attention of Robert Towne, a screenplay writer. He wrote screens. I've been in this industry a long time. Robert had worked with Tom Cruise previously on Days of Thunder. Tom Cruise is 27 years old, already like an seasoned A-lister. He is writing the success of this war movie that he did called Before the 4th of July, I believe, right? And Robert talks about Nicole Kidman to Tom Cruise. Nicole Kidman is in Tokyo doing promo for Dead Calm, and somebody from Tom's team calls Nicole Kidman and is like, Tom Cruise would like to meet you. She told Vanity Fair. Vanity Fair asked, what was your reaction when you got the call? And she started laughing. She was like, I was like, wow, this is America. People can call you and tell you Tom Cruise wants to meet you. It's crazy. I grew up watching Cocktail and what's that other one? Top Gun and Cocktail. So she was excited. So Robert and Tom are working on Days of Thunder and Nicole auditions in 1990. Part 2, Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman. So she's going to audition for Days of Thunder, right? And she remembers the audition, okay? She's told people before. Oh, my cat just got off the couch. She tells people she remembers being there and seeing Tom Cruise drive up in a Porsche, and her jaw dropped and her thinking I'm never gonna get this. And when she walked into the room where she was gonna audition, he's the one who stood up and shook her hand, and she remembers electricity running through her body, and still full of self-doubt, but they called it afternoon and gave her the part. The movie was born on the 4th of July, not before the 4th of July, but I say that because I kind of wanted to give you a picture about where he was. He had already done Rain Man. He had already done Top Gun. He'd done Cocktail. These are all incredibly famous movies. And born on the 4th of July. And so he was already very famous. He was an A-list, right? A-list actor already. But Nicole Kidman was virtually unknown. And it was because of this one role that caught the attention of a screenwriter that knew Tom and was working with Tom, that she got this audition, right? Oh, sorry, I didn't press pause. Well, we hung out for another second. My next point, Tom was actually married. He had a wife, Mimi Rogers. He married her in 1987. And she told Playboy this quote about her ex. Here's the real story. Oh, this hurts me. Tom was seriously thinking of becoming a monk, at least for that period of time. It looked as though marriage wouldn't fit into his overall spiritual need, and he thought he had to be celibate to maintain the purity of his instrument. Oh, Mimi. I don't think he... Okay. So Nicole and Tom start filming Days of Thunder in January 1990, and that's the same month that him and Mimi file for divorce. They released a joint statement, and I'm going to read it to you over my cat kicking litter around because I think she waits for me to start doing one of these to, release a bowel movement. Okay. They released a weird joint statement. While there have been positive aspects to our marriage, he won't fuck me. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. In positive aspects to our marriage, there were some issues which could not be resolved even after working on them for a period of time. So while filming Days of Thunder, Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise fall madly in love. They called it all-consuming love. And I believe it. I believe that. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes I see pictures and I'm like, I see them and I really believe that they were madly in love, truly. The way that Nicole looks at him, the way he looks at her, the way he looks up at her, I'm sorry. Part 3, Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman. Here's a quote from Nicole Kidman about the time when they were falling in love. He basically swept me off my feet. I fell madly, passionately in love. And as happens when you fall in love, my whole plan in terms of what I wanted for my life, I was like, forget it. This is it. Bitch, I'm guilty of that too. I fall in love and suddenly I envision a life like Mrs. Weasley. Popping out 600 pups. You know what I mean? Cutting basil off a plant in my kitchen. Wilted. I mean, I have to be realistic about my capabilities. Hello. Continued. I was consumed by it willingly, and I was desperate to have a baby with him. Those hormones are a motherfucker, huh? I know. Sorry. I didn't care if we were married. I feel like Nicole. They both described the love that they had for each other like a kind of tunnel vision. You know, like they were just focused on each other. Nothing mattered but each other. What's that quote from Game of Thrones? Moon of my life, my sun and stars. Only the most romantic thing I've ever heard in my entire life. I would give both big toes and both pinkies to hear that once in my life. But according to many people in their lives, both of these people tend to be obsessive in their relationships. That's how I know astrology's real. Tell me, I get you. Tell me. Right there. Nicole continues, I was willing to give up everything. I now see that as a part of me. I'm willing to do that. I do it when I do a movie too. I'm willing to go, yeah, bring it on, consume me, intoxicate me. Oh my God, Nicole, you're sick. I love it. I want to feel alive. I want to reel, basically. Oh my God, I feel it. Why am I falling in love with Tom Cruise in 1990 right now? I was reeling with Tom and I loved it. I would have walked to the end of the earth. That meant giving up a lot of things that were important to me. I can hear her say this, but in the same voice of Practical Magic. Jillian, she's like, I would have given it all up. Oh God, I fucking love that movie. Tom also gave a quote to a magazine. She's cool. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Tom was kind of notorious for moving very quickly with his partners, becoming very heavily enamored. I should Google his relationship with his mother. Methinks it's not posy. It was during filming this that she decided to leave Australia and move to California to be with Thomas. There's no exact date online, but a few months. I'm going to give it a solid 3. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt of 4 months. I'm just going to say that. After 16 Saturdays, after 16 Saturday afternoons together, they get engaged. And on December 24th in Colorado, after less than a year of being together, they get married. Very small wedding, mainly all family members. The media obviously and immediately went, oh my God, she's pregnant. Obviously. It's like, no, she's a Gemini sun, Sagittarius moon. Duh, read a book. Part 4, Nicole Kidman, Tom Cruise. So besides the rumors that she is pregnant, also people accuse her of just being his beard because since the beginning of his career, there were rumors and these stories and these like blind items and whatever about him having relationship with men, which is not a big deal. It's only a big deal because they make it a big fucking deal. Did it help that Tom Cruise was enraged and at every opportunity he would make them as a couple confront these rumors? It's just, they tell Vanity Fair in 1996. I feel very angry about this. I just try to remind Nicole, you have me. You have the kids. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. I don't think that's a normal response, though. Wouldn't you just be like, it makes me angry because I'm not? Nicole, doesn't matter. You got me. What are you talking about? What? Then Entertainment Weekly. Kidman dismissed rumors that her husband was gay. Look, Tom and I are heterosexual. We're together and we're in love. She's stressed. Journalists are so shady. It's just, especially in the 90s and early 2000s. No, even today. Y'all are so shady. She's stressed. It's like you're painting a forehead vein on her. We're heterosexual. And we're in love. Sorry. It's weird to even have to answer that question, which also to me doesn't help the matter. It's like when you ask somebody something, where's that movie? What's that movie where he's like, the woman confronts her partner and she's like, are you cheating on me? And he's like, I won't even dignify that question with an answer. So you fucked her raw. The couple even sued a newspaper, a London newspaper. They sued this newspaper for libel and they settled for $500,000. This is all happening in like 8 months, 9 months. So Nicole isn't a huge star yet. Don't you wait. I mean, don't you worry. Don't you wait or worry, Nikki. You're on your way. So for a lot of these articles, it's like Nicole, Tom Cruise's wife, which is hilarious to see now. Please. Keith Urban is Nicole Kidman's husband. Let's just say that. Do I love his music? Of course. We had all the CD-ROMs.
Get along, but that's okay. There's nothing left to say, but take your records,
Take your freedom.
take your memories,
I don't need them.
take your space and take your reasons. But
You'll think of me. I have no pride. Continuing. So there were a bunch of articles too, like in Rolling Stone, where they described Nicole Kidman as Tom Cruise's off-screen girlfriend, which again is wild. And in a GQ article, Nicole Kidman says, I became famous very young, pause, because I was the wife of someone very famous. For now. Part 5, Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman. So Nicole has expressed to different publications like Marie Claire and Esquire that in the beginning of her relationship, she very much felt like a trophy, that she was like, we'd go to these events like the Oscars and I'd think to there they are, the Oscars. Nobody knows who I am. I'm just here to support Tom. I'm just like an arm piece to Tom, you know? But she also, which is a little toxic of her, a little toxica, classic Latina Nicole. She said, there's also like a romantic part, like all the scrutiny will definitely affect you and it definitely affects the relationship, but there's a romantic part to it where you feel like all this attention is on you guys because you're the only two in the world and you're like in this cocoon and it's like only you two understand one another and it like makes you want to fight harder and it's like all this scrutiny kind of like while it affects you, it also weirdly makes things more intense. I just love her. I just love her. I just love that she's like, what's the silver lining? Like, but this was contrary to everything that Nicole Kidman was raised to believe and become. So Nicole was actually born in Hawaii. She was born in Hawaii to Australian parents, and then she grew up in Sydney. Her mother was a nurse. Her dad was a psychologist. She had a sister, Antonia, and from different reports, apparently her parents really, really worked hard to instill a strong code of morals and ethics into their daughters. Here is a quote of Nicole's that I love, okay? As Nicole remembers, my mother would treat us like little adults, which I love because I'm 32 years old and my mother doesn't treat me like a little adult. She treats me like a 5-year-old that happens to have a job in an apartment. So that must be cool. She wanted girls who were educated, aware of everything, and opinionated. My mom reads my mail. She goes, what's up with your credit card bill? Ma'am, that's a federal offense. And also, I'm paying it. God. She wanted girls who were educated, aware of everything, and opinionated. So did my father. They wanted us to be sure when we spoke out. That's gotten me into trouble at times, which is like the complete opposite of what she's describing as this like trophy wife, arm candy, cheerleader, quiet cheerleader for this man, right? It sounds like to me that her parents instilled in her to take up space. You know what I mean? I think that's something a lot of people struggle with. You know what I mean? Like, and it's not that my parents did a terrible job. I'm pretty fucking opinionated, but even then, sometimes when I advocate for myself or when I stick up for myself, my voice, you know, sometimes maybe I'm polite about it. And I feel like with her, it was embedded in her to remember that she exists. And that's the first thing I say when I get into fights with people. I say, I exist, like I'm a person, you know what I mean? And I feel like she grew up knowing who she was. Part 6, Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman. Continuing on with Nicole Kidman's quotes about Tom Cruise before we get into that, okay? Let's stay focused. All right, so things changed quickly for Nicole Kidman and her independency when she met Tom Cruise. I had 3 very strong relationships before I met Tom. 3, okay. Okay, Playgirl. She tells Vanity Fair, but I was never going to get married. Never. But he was just the most incredible, unusual man I've ever met. And Vanity Fair's Ingrid Sishi wrote this. It's hard to imagine a more dramatic personal and sociological change than the one Kidman experienced the moment she hooked up with Cruise. She went from being an actress who had begun to taste success and who had always insisted on living on her own, even during her various romances, to a woman inside the engine of the Hollywood machine. And apparently Tom Cruise was very good friends with Princess Diana. The couple was very good friends with Princess Diana, but allegedly, Nicole Kidman did not really like when they hung out together because Princess Diana and Tom Cruise would flirt relentlessly, which makes me wanna, but apparently, well, there's a video. Hold on, I'll show you. Do we point out Tefi's dirty screen? We don't. Why? That's not what friends do. Okay.
We had it down when we were shooting. Hold on with me, Ron Howard. How was that?
It's great.
There's Ron Howard. Oh, it was incredible working with Ron Howard. He's a genius. The man is a god.
Thank God I'm
He's
here.
a god.
I'm like watching with you.
I didn't know you were there. Otherwise, I would have.
So that's them, I think, at a premiere, actually. The video is titled Mimi Rogers premiere of Far and Away with Nicole Kidman, interview with a vampire. I'll decode this later. Let's focus. Anywho, Serenas. So apparently Nicole, witnesses were like, Nicole always looks at Princess Diana like, get away from my man. But another source said they overheard Diana telling her staff, like, she shouldn't worry, he's too short for me anyway. Here's a quote. After watching one of his Top Gun movies, she came in, picked up some fruit, walked out, and didn't say anything. But as she was walking out, she said, there's another one off the list. He's too short. And 5 years later, they attended Princess Diana's funeral along with Tom Hanks and other of Princess Diana's friends. Part 7, Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise. And now I'm going to talk about Scientology. And I'm going to say allegedly before everything that I say, because so many people were like, please don't talk about it. Please don't talk about it. It's not safe. It's not safe. I'm going to say allegedly before everything. You cannot come for me for libel. This is allegedly. These are things that I've gotten off public websites, okay? Public knowledge, public documentaries. Allegedly, everything that I say about Scientology, even though I love your remedy, allegedly, entertainment purposes only. What do you want from me? If you disturb my peace, I'm going to be really upset. I have a lot of plans and a lot of fun things I want to do. Please don't rain on them. Continue Scientologying away if you must. Okay, Tefi, what the fuck is Scientology? I have to explain this because it's a vital part of the story because he made it that way. Because Scientology made it that way. Allegedly. Okay, so the history of Scientology, what is Scientology? So Scientology was, I'm going to read off this page, okay? But I'm going to try to maintain eye contact with you. Allegedly. Scientology was founded in the 1950s and centers around the idea that each human has a reactive mind that responds to life's traumas, clouding the analytic mind and keeping us from experiencing true reality. So this kind of makes sense. Kind of. I think it's called perspective, but whatever. There's a very controlling aspect to it. I believe that Scientology was designed after one of the armed forces, the Navy. All right. Members of the religion submit to a process called auditing to find the sources of this trauma. And allegedly, I believe also groomers and predators also want to know every single dirty detail about every single thing you've ever gone through to use it against you and convince you that you need them. Allegedly. This is where the auditor who does the auditing, someone who works for the Church of Scientology, takes an individual through their trauma in order to clear them from it. And write down what you tell them, and they file it away. Okay? People who have left the church say, allegedly, that when the members want to leave the church allegedly threatens blackmail using your trauma against you. Scientology members and officials reveal secrets of the organization and tell horror stories of psychological and physical abuse during their time in this controversial religion, allegedly, after they have escaped, right? It's very much like one of those cults you see on TV, allegedly, where, you know, if you leave, you'll never see, you can never talk to your family again. You know what I mean? And that's why so many people stay. There is so much more to unpack. But the bottom line is that Scientology is about control, allegedly. And it seems like Tom Cruise also used that control. Part 8, Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman. And we're talking about Scientology, allegedly. Allegedly, allegedly. Entertainment purposes only, allegedly, allegedly. So Tom Cruise is like pretty much like the face of Scientology, allegedly. And he apparently really responds well to this control, military style religion. I mean, didn't Christian Bale say that Tom Cruise was his inspiration for Patrick Bateman, American Psycho? Apparently he's very regimented. Nicole said the word unusual, and immediately I thought about this, you know, and I can't even imagine explaining this to your partner. You know what I mean? Like, you what? You auditing, brain auditing, like, and they file it away and you can never leave? Like, that's crazy. I'm part of one of the most intense religions in the entire world, Catholicism, and I can leave whenever I want. It's like Father Rick at St. Augustine isn't gonna chase me down the street, and I can still call my mom. But one can see, obviously and allegedly, I'm gonna make that a t-shirt, obviously and allegedly, that for a partner who's madly in love and moved across the world to California to be with this man, that being part of this very hardcore religion, especially for like a freak little songbird like Nicole Kidman, can be very toxic and very scary and intense. And it kind of makes sense as to why Tom Cruise responded so well to Scientology from an article. Tom Cruise attended 15 schools in 12 years, all made more terrifying by the fact that he had dyslexia. And I'm sorry, like, dyslexia was not, people just thought you were stupid. You know what I mean? Back then, in the 70s, please. And he said he had a difficult relationship with his father, who was often absent. 2 months after his father passed away in 1984, he joined the Church of Scientology. Since then, Tom Cruise has spent millions of dollars and many decades dedicated to the Church of Scientology, allegedly. He is best friends with the head of the church and is seen as close to a deity in the eyes of the church. And if you speak out against Tom Cruise, you are allegedly seen as an enemy of the church, allegedly. And it is Mimi Rogers who introduced Tom Cruise to Scientology, allegedly. She was raised as a Scientologist because both of her parents are Scientologists. And Olive, we love Olive, put in parentheses, does this make her a Nepo baby? This is not a time to joke. Tom Cruise and me saying allegedly, part 9. So Nicole Kidman is born Catholic. Hey girl, we love Jesus. And she at one point even considered joining a convent. Crazy, a monk and a nun together at last. And choked on my spit. It's Scientology. It's already started. A few months after she marries Tom Cruise, she starts these Scientology classes. But the church was very wary of Miss Kidman Cruise because her dad is a psychologist and the church hates psychiatry. Of course they do. Well, anything to do with psychology, psychiatry, they consider it like the opposite of what they're doing, the most evil. Allegedly. Rumor has it. I have a quote. In the eyes of Scientology, not only is psychiatry the evil that has plagued mankind since the beginning of time, but anyone or anybody who sympathizes or agrees with them is also in the enemy camp. And anybody who's been treated by them is in the enemy camp. Nicole always had this cloud hanging over her head, says Mike Rinder, a former senior executive in the Church of Scientology. Woo! Michael, allegedly. So even though they're like, and she's like, she starts basically doing Scientology full time because they have these levels. They're called like operational They're called OTs, right? And OTs have these levels. And in order to get to the next level, you have to really continue these classes and being audited constantly. And you can't advance levels without donations. Allegedly. It's more about the mind and religion. And money helps. Another quote. She did Scientology courses. She was really dedicated, says Tony Ortega, the world's leading journalist covering Scientology. I talked to her auditor, Bruce Hines, and she got all the way up to OT2 in 2 years. That means she was doing Scientology pretty much full time for 2 straight years. But people around her say that even though she was doing this all the time, she was never really committed. I'm sure she saw it as a bit. She's such an icon. I can see her sitting at the table like, woo, auditing. Now more about me. You know what I mean? Well, it all started the summer of 75. Quotes continued. Allegedly, this is all alleged. At one point, when Nicole was at Gold Base, Scientology's international headquarters in Northern California, with Tom studying on OT2, she had to go off, shoot something, and I drove her from the base to the Riverside airport and took her to the plane, says Rinder, the auditor, the former sociology executive. I chatted with her and became fairly friendly with Nicole just because I was Australian and she was part 10 Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise. Okay, so continuing the quote. I chatted with her and became fairly friendly with Nicole just because I was Australian and she was never gushingly enthusiastic about Scientology. By 1992, she becomes fed up with the leader, David Kaka. I'm Scientology, allegedly Kaka. Allegedly, not a nice guy, allegedly. David Miscavige. She was not a big fan of him and leaves Scientology, and Tom follows shortly after. So very early into their marriage, Nicole wants babies. I mean, that's like, we saw the interview where she's like, I want babies with this man. TW, pregnancy loss. At 23, she has an ectopic pregnancy. She tells Vanity Fair, I was desperate to have a baby with him. That's what I wish I had done. Opening up to Mary Claire about one of the darkest periods in her life, Kidman revealed that she had an ectopic pregnancy at the start of the couple's marriage, followed by a miscarriage years later. It was incredibly traumatic for me. In 1992, 2 years after getting married, Bella, nickname Cruz, was adopted, and then in 1995, the two adopted Connor Cruz, which I think is very rock and roll. They were very present, active parents. There is this interview of them with the LA Times. They trade off taking care of their 2 adopted children, 2.5-year-old Isabella and 7-month-old Connor. With Cruz, you like my reporter voice? With Cruz doing diapers and baths as often as she. I'm a 90s woman, so he sure does. She laughs. I laughed. I'm so dorky. Yup. Oh my God. Quotes continued. Tom was going to take care of the kids while I was working, and the London press was so shocked, which I thought was so antiquated. She says, he wants to have a relationship with his children. She smiles. She smiles. Maybe that'll be the next rumor, that he's giving up his career to be a house husband. In 1996, Nicole and Tom star in one of the movies that traumatized me the most as a child. There is no reason. My father took me to see that movie. I can't find the reasoning. The logic is lost on me. The reasoning, way over my head. I couldn't tell you why you would take a child to go see that. But anyway, they were great in it from what I remember through my tears. The director of this movie, his name is lost on me. It's like on the tip of my tongue. He did Full Metal Jacket. He's done a bunch of cool stuff. Director Stanley. Super decorated director. And he always intended on casting a married couple, but he wasn't looking for Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman. He wanted Alec Baldwin and Kim Basinger, who is stunning. I love Kim. Icon. Part 10, Nicole and Tom. So they shot Eyes Wide Shut for 400 days. And at the time, that won the Guinness World Record for longest movie shot. Crazy. But what's also really interesting about this movie is that Nicole Kidman referred to it as anti-therapy, because kind of like Scientology, they had like these like auditing sessions with Stanley, director Stan, where, I mean, they didn't call it auditing sessions, but it just sounds like something they were just already doing, where they shared, I have to sneeze, where they shared all their problems in their marriage, and Stanley used it in the movie. And Nicole says it caused a lot of issues because there were a lot of things that as a married couple they didn't want to hear, and the director made sure that it felt very real to both of them, because he would make them wear the characters' clothes for days at a time. They chose how to decorate the house. They would sleep on the set's bed, and he encouraged them to use their nightstands like they would at home. So Tom would even leave change on the nightstand like he would in their house, and it had a real strain on their marriage. And also the director was infamous for taking a million takes of the smallest little things. He made Tom Cruise film they did 40 cuts of him walking through a door. Him just walking through a door 40 times. At that point, I would have started crawling. I would have started doing front flips, cartwheels. Don't play with me. Play with your money. Play with your money. Play your bitches. Don't play me. This movie did incredibly well. It's definitely one of those movies you have to see before you die. I watched it again as an adult, and it is an incredible movie. And this drove David Miscavige of Scientology allegedly nuts, because while they were filming away, I think they were filming in the UK, but they were basically out of allegedly David's grasp. And even though they had left the church for a couple years at this point, David was paying off Tom's allegedly house team, like people who cleaned his house and all that stuff, like his staff, his household employees. Okay, he was paying off his household employees to keep tabs on Tom, and him and Tom were still friendly. I think David really wanted Tom to eventually come back and didn't want to burn a bridge, and that was his plan the whole time. But while they were away filming, Tom wasn't calling him or answering his calls anymore, and this was driving David fucking nuts. People that left Scientology say that at the time, allegedly, he was furious, and he decided allegedly to come up with a plan to get him back. Part 11, me living in fear. So the leader of Scientology allegedly is very, very upset that Tom is now unreachable and not within his grasp, and they are not communicating, and he wants Tom back in the fucking religion. Here are some quotes. In 1998, after Eyes Wide Shut, Cruise made a brief return to the church's Hollywood Celebrity Center to take a course, which had him sitting in a grocery store parking lot with a Scientology official, Tommy Davis, judging the tone level of people walking by. So basically, what I want to explain about OTs is that each level is higher and higher to God, and this is their tone. This is their tone, right? And I would like you to imagine leaving your Trader Joe's not knowing that Tom Cruise is like, oh, she's at the bottom. How dare you? How dare you? I'm here buying my groceries, and you're in some unmarked Toyota Camry telling me how close I am to God. So after that, they slowly started creeping back, allegedly into Tom's life. Slowly, surely, he is back on it. But Nicole doesn't know, allegedly, how much. And she's still keeping the church at arm's length. You know what I mean? And I think 2 or 3 arms, if you will. And allegedly, Tom Cruise does not like this, and asked them, what do you guys know about phone tapping? I wish a bitch would. I would also like to say that Tom Cruise's lawyer denies this. Heavily denies this. But this is just coming from, I'll tell you where this is coming from. A former spokesperson for the church who later left claims in the documentary Going Clear, Scientology and the Prison of Belief. Ooh, that's a good fucking title. Okay. That the head of the church hired private investigators to look into Kidman for any damaging information while they were married. They also tapped her phone when Cruise mentioned he was curious about her phone conversations. Cruise's lawyer adamantly denies this. The film also alleges that the head of the church helped drive a wedge between Kidman and her and Cruise's 2 adopted children, turning them against their mother because she was not a member of the church. I wish a bitch would. Allegedly. I wish allegedly a bitch would allegedly do that to me. More quotes. When Nicole was later asked about her role in the church, she says this: Tom is a Scientologist. I am not. Oh, already dangerous. I was introduced to it by him and I explored it, but I am not a Scientologist. I told Tom I respect his religion. I said to him, it is what you believe and it's helped you. Shady. Like, you know when somebody says, oh, that's so you. I love that's working for you. I'm glad that you wore that. Part 13. Nicole. Tom. Okay, and this is more allegedly. Okay, we're gonna get a little messy. But we're good at that, I feel. I feel like we're a responsible group. I love us. This is so us. Okay, so there's all these. They're an A-list Hollywood couple, top of their game, very affectionate, very loving. The year 2000, there's all of these, and they've already been married at this point for 10 years. And there's all of these rumors going on about that it's rocky in their relationship. And then they renew their vows Christmas Eve 2000, and people are like, oh my God, we're so silly. They're fine. They announced a divorce February 11, 2001. The divorce papers cited irreconcilable differences, which is such a cop-out. Tell us what happened. I mean, it's obviously and allegedly the effects of Scientology, like allegedly, but obviously. But yeah, Hollywood was shocked. It's all anybody could talk about. Also, people kept talking about how short he was, and I was 10. And I was like, no, he's tall. He's 5'7". I'm 5'7". We're both tall little ladies. Have I told you guys about when my dad met Tom Cruise? I don't know. My dad is I don't like to say the word exaggerator. We all have a couple of people like that in our lives. I'm probably my friends probably say that about me fucking too, but I call them storytellers, right? And my dad is a really good storyteller. But he said that when he was dating my mom, they went to like some theater show in like 1987, and my mom and my dad were both smokers. It was the 80s. What do you want? They were very rock and roll. I wasn't there to stop them, okay? I was just a mere thought, an angel, a cherub watching above. And he went in the alley to smoke a cigarette during one part in the play. And he's like, dude, that guy looks just like fucking Tom Cruise. And there's another dude in the alley smoking too. And these two girls walk by and they're like giggling through the alley. Crazy girls in the 80s in New York. Love yourselves. Choose safety. And they're walking by, and apparently the guy that he thinks looks like Tom Cruise goes like, hey. And the girls like giggle and they're like, fuck off. And my dad's like, normal, whatever. And the guy's like, do you know who I am? I'm Tom Cruise. And my dad goes, oh my God, it is Tom Cruise. And the girls go, yeah, fucking right. Fuck you. Yeah, right. And the guy turns around and goes inside. And he's like, when he opened the door to the theater and the light showed on his face, it's like, it was fucking Tom Cruise. Whatever. Fuck. So Nicole Kidman gives this quote to People Mag. Our life together was perfect. It took me a very long time to heal. It was a shock to my system. That was a great relationship. I think it ran its course. I was really damaged and not sure whether love and marriage was ever going to happen to me again. Part 14, Tom and Nicole, part 14. Have I no pride? So they get 50-50 custody of their children. They split everything down the middle. But there are rumors as to why they divorced, okay? First and foremost, the one being the church. By the time they divorced, he was 100% back in. I can't believe that to some people in the world, Tom Cruise is a holy figure, a deity, allegedly. There were also a lot of rumors about Tom Cruise cheating and being, partaking in infidelity, okay? I'm just getting cozy, I'm just getting comfy, because I feel like in the 90s and early 2000s, I mean, any person that attended a high school during that time, the worst thing a person could accuse you for was being gay. You can talk about how progressive, yes, we had gay characters in TV, you know, but it was always stories of like suffering, overcoming, and it was tremendous bullying, you know what I mean? And yeah, it was like the worst thing. Ask any guy who went to high school in the 90s and 2000s, and what's the worst thing people could accuse you for was being gay. So fucking nuts to me, because I'm like, I don't know. I would think that being an asshole would be way worse, you know? ABC News reported that he had strayed from his marriage with another man. He was an adult film star. His name was Chad Slater, and he's giving us face. And he's not naked under this. I just want to be safe. Let me read you a little clip. I know there's no background right now. I just want us to focus. All right. So my mom said focus for a while. That's why I say it like that. Bless her heart. She also says ridiculous. Okay. Some quotes. ABC News. Slater, who is known as Kyle Bradford, is billed on his website as an erotic wrestler, and according to Inside.com, he is known in the United States for his adult movies where he likes to climb into a ring and have encounters with his partners. The performer claimed that Kidman caught him and Cruz being intimate, which directly led to her filing for a divorce. Cruz slammed Slater's assertions as outright lies. We are heterosexuals. No, I'm just kidding. Cruz insists that he has never even met the adult star. As a result, he won a lawsuit against Slater for $10 million in 2003. The lawsuit states that Cruz is not a homosexual, and that while the star of Mission Impossible believes the right of others to follow their own sexual preference, vast numbers of the public throughout the world do not share that view, and believing that he had a homosexual affair and did so during his marriage, there will be less inclined to patronize Cruz's films, particularly since he tends to play parts calling for heterosexual romance and action adventure. Part 14? Part 15? Part 15. Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman. So year 2000, they renewed their vows, right? But that's also the year that he started filming Vanilla Sky. I fucking love Vanilla Sky. I watch Vanilla Sky once a month. I love Vanilla Sky. Cameron Diaz in that. I swallowed your... I won't say it, but oh my God, so good. Okay? But we know what happened during Vanilla Sky. Maybe in the next life when we are both guts. Penelope Cruz. And after they announced the divorce, Penelope Cruz and Tom Cruise go public, and Nicole Kidman is apparently devastated. Who knows how Chad feels? He's probably devastated too. Okay. So this is a quote from Nicole, okay? He flat out swore to me up and down that there was nothing going on. All this time she's been wondering why the marriage ended and that this could be it. The new couple made it red carpet official just a week. Just a week. 7 sleeps after an almost 11-year marriage. Penelope Cruz and Tom Cruise make it red carpet fucking official. The Miami came out. Red carpet fucking official, bro. Who the fuck do you think you are? Tom Cruise? But tabloids allegedly said that they had separated. And Nicole suffered a miscarriage during the separation, and it really drove a huge wedge in between them. Because apparently the miscarriage was not Tom's. I don't believe it though. Not my baby girl. And if she did, I can't see anything. I can't even hear. I can't even read. A lot of people, I mean, everybody thinks every relationship is PR now. Let me have a little magic. You know what I mean? PR. Okay, you commenting that is PR. How about that? Nicole Kidman. Look, the marriage was real. The marriage existed because it was 2 people in love. It's that simple. We're heterosexual. No, I'm just kidding. It's that simple. They said, I'm gay. They said, everyone's gay. I personally don't believe in doing huge lawsuits about that stuff. Tom does. That's what he wants to do, and that's what he's going to do. Why do I sound like Carmela Soprano? If that's what he wants to do, that's what he's going to do. You don't tell Tom what to do. It's that simple. And he's a force to be reckoned with. I have a different approach. I don't file lawsuits because I really don't care. Honestly, people have said everything under the sun. I just want to do my work, raise my kids, and hopefully find somebody who I can share my life with. Or, have a number of different people at different times who come into my life. I don't know what my future is, but I really don't care what anybody else is saying. I just want to make it nice. That last part was me. I just want to make it nice. Make it nice. But the Daily News reported that the strain of a breakup and separation was already very obvious on the set of Vanilla Sky. Part 16, Tom and Nicole. Listen, this is the real me. You've seen the hot pics of me on Instagram. That's all I can do right now. My friends see the real me, and we're all friends here. And this is it, babe. This is what we're working with. So the crew of Vanity Sky said, no, listen, Tom was super upset sometimes. Thank God. Vanity Fair did a profile on Nicole Kidman about the divorce. Kidman's willingness to stay on life's ride. What? Even when it feels like a roller coaster is proven. Kidman Kidman is so brave to stay alive. I don't understand what she's... She doesn't deny that doing so was hard at first after the marriage fell apart. She even told me a story about being so upset that she was lying on the ground in the fetal position weeping while her parents, who had arrived to help her through the whole circus, were trying to make her snap out of it. "That's enough now. Get up," her mother said. And her mother told me that she did. But you know what? Get up she did, babe, because what I'm going to show you in the next photo is Nicole Kidman leaving her lawyer's office after signing the papers, and she's in the parking lot. I speak a little Italian. Mi piace tormentare mangiare.
Our guests.
Oh,
Help yourself. Go right ahead.
it's coffee.
It is?
Is it?
No. Well, let's find out.
My, stop it. Okay.
Well, you look.
So-
Yeah, you look fantastic.
Thank you.
And
I don't know how to take everything.
Well, I know it's odd. It's just an odd thing, you know.
Well, I can wear heels now.
Hilarious. There's a lot of rumors. I don't want to call it gossip because they're kids. There's a lot of concerns about their children because they are members of Scientology. When they got divorced, she really tried to protect them. Here's a quote of hers. "What I see now is a 9-year-old little girl who the divorce affected, and I see a 7-year-old boy, and I see my duty as a mother." She is such a mother. "It means for the rest of my life I have to do things to protect them and help them and make it up to them. And that sounds so old-fashioned and strange. I don't know why that's in me, but it is." It sounds good. I'm okay with that, okay? But yeah, they are Scientologists. I don't like the idea of teenagers having these auditing sessions because you're so confused and you're just looking for people to tell you that you are good and that you're doing a good job. You know what I mean? You're just looking for validation. And that is so allegedly dangerous. Part 17. Nicole and Tom and allegedly Scientology and allegedly what it's done to their family. Allegedly. So Scientology, they are active in Scientology, and the children decided to stay in Los Angeles with Tom Cruise, which is very, very far away from where Nicole Kidman lives. I think she has a place in LA, but I think she spends most of her time in her native Australia, and very heavily involved and they're still involved with Scientology, and Nicole is very far removed from the religion. Leah Remini did an interview, and I remember it, where because she was in Scientology, she was very close to Tom Cruise for some time. And she remembers that in 2006, after Katie Holmes and Tom Cruise got married, she was in the car with Bella and Connor. And she asked about their mom. "Have you talked to your mom lately?" And Bella said, "Our mom's a fucking SP." Tefi, what's an SP? It's what Scientologists call a suppressive person. The people, terrible people that you excommunicate yourself with because they don't follow the religion. So like, for example, if my family was in Scientology and my brother left, we could never speak to our brother again, allegedly, because he would be then an SP, an enemy of the church. Obviously, the press has confronted Nicole about this, and this is what she has to say. They're adults. They're able to make their own decisions. I feel the pain in that. They have made choices to be Scientologists, and as a mother, it's my job to love them. I am an example of that tolerance, and that's what I believe, that no matter what your child does, the child has love, and the child has to know that there is available love, and I'm open here. I think that's so important, because if that is taken away from my child, to sever that in my child in any relationship, in any family, I believe it's wrong. So that's our job as a parent, to always offer unconditional love. If I were to call my mom an SP, la chancla would have hit me desde Miami. Así. The sandal that would have been thrown, the flip-flop that would have been thrown my way, as soon as the words SP, the sandal would have been flown from fucking Miami to hit me across the fucking nose. La que? Like I can hear it. Bella got married in 2015 to an IT consultant. Neither parent was in attendance. The news went crazy and they're like, they're estranged. But Bella did an interview with the Daily Mail. Stop talking to the Daily Mail. Of course we talk. They're my parents. Anyone who says otherwise is full of shit. My God, cursing, Bella. Rock and roll. Connor hasn't been seen with Nicole in years, but he insists that he loves his mother, has a relationship with her. And you know my next series is going to be Katie Holmes. I love Katie Holmes.